Great people, great work, and the ability to push on past what's good enough and focus on making everything better than it has to be, that is the spirit behind the NTMA Honor Awards. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us for the National Terrazzo and Mosaic Association's annual Honor Awards ceremony. In a moment, we will announce the recipients of this year's Honor Awards, including the industry's most prestigious honor, the coveted Job of the Year. Tonight's select contractors will join the ranks of others who have gone before them, including many of your parents and grandparents over the past 50 years or more. Since the 1960s, these awards have been recognizing the exceptional work of our contractor members and their contributions to the terrazzo industry. Like any trade association, our purpose is to benefit our members, set standards for the industry, and promote the industry. Founded in 1923, the NTMA stands out among trade associations. We take enormous pride in recognizing the handiwork of our members. We profoundly honor the level of knowledge your work demands. We are proud of the highly skilled craft that terrazzo is and the essential role this industry has played for generations in creating some of the most prominent structures in our nation's history. It is your expertise that makes it indeed a trade like no other. This year's entries once again show us how our industry continues to advance. These entries demonstrate how you continue to hone your craft and your professionalism. Your work allows the NTMA to demonstrate to the architectural community and the construction industry the capacities of terrazzo. As we strive to help you advance this industry and to work with you to strengthen your craft and your businesses, our principal goal is to establish the reputation of the NTMA member contractor as the one sure source of quality terrazzo installations. As we promote the quality work of our member companies, terrazzo's reputation within the construction industry grows. The NTMA extends a huge thank you to all who submitted projects to the Honor Award program this year, some of whom have never before submitted. We hope to increase participation even more next year. This year's winning projects were selected from among 47 entries. All are jobs to be proud of and credits to our industry. The top 18 projects were chosen as Honor Award recipients through extended and thoughtful deliberation. Again this year, each entry was judged by a group of carefully selected experts from within the terrazzo industry and the design community. Without knowing the name of the project, its location, or the names of any parties involved, each judge independently and objectively evaluated the projects based on the photos and descriptions submitted. We will begin by recognizing and presenting all the projects submitted by your fellow NTMA contractors. Here are the 2019 entries. St. Peter High School, Grazzini Brothers and Company. North Olmsted City School, O.A. Bertine Company. Landmark Atrium 1, Steward Mellon Company. Roundhouse Aquarium, CORRADINI Corporation. Charis Bible College, Colorado Design Tile and Terrazzo. High Tech High School, Yorie Tile and Terrazzo. The Palms Casino Remodel, CORRADINI Corporation. Gerald R. Ford International Airport, Central Tile and Terrazzo Company. AON Center, Amici Terrazzo. University of Kentucky Student Center, Martina Brothers Company. Nassau Coliseum, Zonca, Terrazzo, and Mosaic. Dayton Children's FMP Project Tower, Axis Interior Systems. Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, Steward Mellon Company. DePaoli University School of Music, Menconi Terrazzo. Cipriani, Las Vegas, CORRADINI Corporation. Hanover Hills Elementary School, Roman Mosaic and Tile Company. Jersey Shore University Medical Center, Fromkin Brothers. San Diego International Airport, CORRADINI Corporation. American Girl Flagship Store, D. Magnan and Company. West Point Pershing Hall, Zonca Terrazzo and Mosaic. Columbine Middle School, Colorado Design Tile and Terrazzo. Beverly Middle School, DePaoli Mosaic Company. I-77 Iredell County Rest Area, David Allen Company. Olathe Medical Center, Desco Coatings. University of Tampa Fitness Center, Steward Mellon Company. National Museum of Law Enforcement, Boatman and Magnani. United Brotherhood of Carpenters, CORRADINI Corporation. Monsanto Corporate Building, Missouri Terrazzo Company. Montrein Resort and Casino, Zonca Terrazzo and Mosaic. And now the moment you have been waiting for. The NTMA is proud to present the 2019 Honor Award winners. Among this installation's assets are amazing color consistency, skillful use of various aggregate, and a subtly elegant, timeless design. Developers completely gutted and rebuilt the interior of this 7-story, 200-room hotel, a premier oceanside resort. Substantial leveling was required. The entire first floor required epoxy fill up to 2 inches thick. The precast stairs are set over existing terrazzo. Some stairs had to be removed and others built up to bring them to code. The catwalk and stairs were detailed with exposed edges. The anchoring design element of intersecting circles was an installation challenge. A single white resin color was used throughout the project. A distinction in color was achieved through varied aggregate size with accents of large one-sided mirror chips. The 1/8-inch aluminum strips were bent on site, except for the water jet cut intersections of the circles. The neutral color and pattern integrate well with the other design elements in the space. This well-executed installation in the Hard Rock Hotel in Daytona Beach, Florida, is the work of Steward Mellon Company of Tampa. The renovation of this 1964 church won high ratings from the NTMA judges for its exemplary design composition. The interior is bright, the elements balanced and harmonious. The epoxy terrazzo in 4 colors responds to the high standard set by the existing stained glass windows and honors the beauty of this space. Cast-in-place terrazzo steps span the entire width of the chapel to delineate the sanctuary. 4 terrazzo screen walls with a 1-inch brass riser help define the space, while 2 additional terrazzo steps support the tabernacle. Subtle symbolism characterizes the design. The focal point of the space is the baptismal font, surrounded by terrazzo artistry. The 50 different aggregate types were distributed by hand without divider strips to form free-flowing elements. Within the hand-bent brass alpha and omega and dove symbols, the terrazzo mix is composed of crushed white marble remnants from new elements in the sanctuary. Work was completed in 5 phases as the church remained active daily. For this fabulous job at St. Ambrose Catholic Church in Salt Lake City, our congratulations go to FW Specialties of Midvale, Utah. This transportation terminal's grand hall houses an intricate public art installation in epoxy terrazzo. 16 colors and 375 water jet cut elements of brass and zinc formed the secret garden design with its joyful collection of hummingbirds, poppies, brass insects, and abstract shapes. The design beautifully complements the scale and architectural elements of the space. Besides the Grand Hall installation, single-color terrazzo was installed in 5 staircases of precast terrazzo and 11 elevator cab floors. One challenge of the job was installing the terrazzo on a topping slab that contained a radiant flooring system. When installers were asked to expedite the 6-month installation schedule, prefabricating the divider strips allowed them to trim a month off and improved the quality of the strip patterns. The crew also ran 2 shifts, 7 days a week. Many of the pour days consisted of troweling down colors in spaces of a square foot or less, but in 50 different locations, separated by a 16-gauge strip. NTMA offers its compliments to Associated Terrazzo Company of San Francisco for an exceptional achievement in their city's Salesforce Transit Center. Inspired by the local waterfront, this terrazzo floor is a neutral backdrop to the textured walls in the lobby. Clean lines of intersecting brass ring inlays harmonize with large rock and mother-of-pearl aggregates. The design is carried into the elevator cabs, elevated fascia and the fascia contoured around a curved wall. Because installers were required to shim up the brass ring inlays a 1/4 inch above the substrate, it was important to achieve the perfect mix that would flow under the strips without being too wet. The number 3 to 5 size aggregates had to be laid down by hand. Due to the size of aggregate, the amount of time for rough grinding was doubled. To prevent the brass strips from staining the terrazzo matrix during wet polishing, installers used squeegees, vacuums, and leaf blowers. The primary challenge was setting the contoured terrazzo fascia panels along a curved wall 10 feet high. Installers pre-drilled the precast panels, then attached one side to the plywood substrate. They applied a heat gun to the panel so it could be bent to the wall, then attached it on the other side. Congratulations for a well-executed project to T.B. Pennick & Sons of San Diego for Pacific Gate Condominiums in San Diego. This terrazzo floor is nicely integrated with the architecture of the building in this inviting and beautifully designed space. NTMA judges appreciated the stacked block pattern's 3D optical illusion and 1920s speakeasy vibe in this lounge dedicated to magicians. Installed as part of a renovation of the 90-year-old building, the floor's assets include detail, 3 classic colors, and 1/8 inch brass divider strips, all complemented by glass and one-sided mirror chips. All lines and benchmarks were produced in the field using a general layout provided by the designer and owner. The terrazzo installers are proud of their success in achieving the desired look within a small area and keeping the project within budget while making extensive adjustments to the old concrete substrate. Most of the floor required 1/2 to 1 inch of fill to meet adjacent elevations. An unusual feature of the installation is a copper wire induction loop system that connects to hearing aids, embedded under the membrane in the floor. This well-deserved honor award for the Chicago Magic Lounge goes to Menconi Terrazzo of Bensenville, Illinois. This remodel and addition in a high school included the installation of both epoxy thin set and sand cushion terrazzo to match existing cement terrazzo. One design challenge was the transition from the level of the new entrance up to the elevation of the rest of the building. A learning stair along this entire transition creates a bold statement that maintains openness between the two floor elevations while adding a practical feature. The mixed design for the new entry commons focused on creating a gradient to unify the material palette of the existing building with the more contemporary one in the addition, with incremental changes to the proportions of aggregate. NTMA judges were impressed with the transition between the two systems and the original terrazzo, the excellent work on the details and grinding, and the vertical work of the 70 linear feet of cast-in-place bleachers, benches, and stairs, all with clean lines and consistent corners. For their work in Delano High School in Delano, Minnesota, this honor award goes to Advanced Tile and Terrazzo of Coon Rapids, Minnesota. This Welcome Center extends a warm greeting to visitors. The eye-catching floor invites guests to interact with the design elements of the center's water and wine theme. NTMA judges appreciated the creativity and complexity of this design, reminiscent of a grapevine winding through the wood-grained tile. The curved path pours into the map and extends to the sidewalk outside, and the map identifies local landmarks, attractions, and wine trails in brass. The work demonstrates proper technical planning. Judges also noted the craftsmanship evident in the extensive use of brass within a white matrix. The brass installation had to be seamlessly coordinated with the metal and water jet fabricators. The terrazzo contractor reported that the most challenging aspect of this project was the constantly evolving design. From the concept phase of the process throughout the installation of the floor, the design was changed multiple times, which required immediate adaptation to the new layout while on a tight schedule. The floor was completed in 2 weeks. This well-deserved honor award for their work in Finger Lakes Welcome Center in Geneva, New York, goes to T.D. Zoller Tile Corporation of Cheektowaga, New York. Impressive in scale and elegant in design, this terrazzo installation in a shopping mall remodel encompassed all public areas and storefronts. No areas of the mall could be closed or sectioned off during business hours. The 100,000 square foot installation of the terrazzo was completed in 6 mobilizations of 10 phases each, with crews of up to 35 workers working night shifts 7 days a week for a year. All installation of epoxy had to be done at the beginning of the shift to allow for foot traffic during mall business hours. Crack membrane required cure times overnight before the installation of divider strips and terrazzo. Carpet and plastic were put into place daily to protect the floor from damage. Extensive protection of the adjacent finishes was also required daily, and then removed before the mall's opening in the morning to avoid the appearance of a construction site. Epoxy floor fill at varying depths was required to meet existing transitions and conditions after the original marble tile floor was removed. Judges were impressed by the perfect flatness of the floor. NTMA offers its compliments to CORRADINI Corporation of Fountain Valley, California, for outstanding work at the Beverly Center Mall in Los Angeles. The focus of this terrazzo installation in a university's informatics and computing facility is a cascading monumental staircase with open stringers. Integrated wooden bench seating provides students a place to congregate and study. To give the appearance of a fully poured-in-place system while meeting scheduling demands, the stairs were completed as a cast-in-place and precast hybrid. All vertical elements of the stairs were made off-site and installed in a pre-grout condition. All horizontal elements were then poured in place. Once in place, the entire staircase was grouted and then ground to 200 grit finish. Pre-made expansion joints and abrasive aggregate for the stair nosing also helped expedite the project. The stairs had to be planned out perfectly for safety compliance. For this beautiful, creative use of terrazzo and outstanding craftsmanship at Indiana University Bloomington, we honor the Blakely Corporation of Indianapolis. This gorgeous project in Lucille Packard Children's Hospital in Palo Alto, California, earned high ratings for its architectural design and craftsmanship. The terrazzo floor is a handsome canvas for prefabricated mosaic panels. Depicting sea creatures, the mosaics on the ground floor are discovery points within a walk along the seashore theme. The terrazzo was poured wet on wet for seamless wave patterns. Upstairs is a meandering terrazzo pathway designed to simulate a forest trail. Speckled with 500 individual cast glass leaves in 3 different styles, the floor showcases another 9 mosaic panels. The mosaics were placed in the floor after the terrazzo was sealed. Fiberglass templates were handmade for each mosaic panel with a strip around each. Plastic or water jet cut PVC templates were used to set the bronze sand dollars and glass leaves without strips. The precast stairs were installed between imported stone and glass with a poured-in-place landing. Installers contended with considerable logistical challenges. Aggregates had to be blended off-site and deliveries had to be booked 3 days in advance. For this exemplary contribution to the industry, we applaud T.B. Pennick & Sons of San Diego. This spectacularly executed map of Alaska in terrazzo portrays each island, fjord, river, and peninsula of its complex coastlines. From the metropolitan areas to the remote villages, from the far western islands and to the southeast Alaskan panhandle, all have been amazingly incorporated to scale in the 22 by 30 foot map. The installers were contracted to take a conceptual map of Alaska and redraw it for fabrication. This new engineering building on a university campus was built as a core and shell project. The area to receive terrazzo was recessed 2 inches to allow for the installation of any flooring, and this 2-inch recess was filled with an epoxy mortar bed. The amount of raw aggregate and epoxy rose to around 5 times what would typically be required for a project of this size. For a fantastic job at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, let's give a big hand to the Grazzini brothers of St. Paul, Minnesota. This dynamic terrazzo pattern is in the main entry of the Hard Rock Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Over 1,100 water jet cut guitar picks vibrantly convey the theme. The gold bands weaving through the design, inspired by guitar strings, were made with several thousand linear feet of zinc and aluminum strip and were hand-bent and laid out on site. Extraordinarily good workmanship and attention to detail are consistently evident in the poured-in-place stairs, plinths, cove base, and throughout the 15,000 square foot installation. 4 custom mixes integrated a total of 19 aggregates with varying percentages of premium aggregate in multiple mixes. The slab required up to 1/2 inch of epoxy fill while maintaining a flatness of 1/4 inch in 10 feet, a considerable accomplishment with such a layout. The poured-in-place vertical accents were finished to an 800 grit. Craftsmen on the job completed several hundred linear feet of vertical grinding and perfect regularity with hand-bent 1/4 inch strip. All those involved should be proud of the results. The contractor on this excellent project is Port Morris Tile and Marble of New York City. This terrazzo project is in a school district career center. The installation is sand cushion with the slab recessed 3 inches. A series of bands and squares incorporate the school colors in the monolithic design with marble and glass aggregate. Numerous poured-in-place steps also provide a visual contrast with colors alternating at the steps and ramps. The subtle terrazzo design successfully complements the space without overstatement. The terrazzo pattern was set at an angle to the building, shifting the typical layout of the divider strips where the squared-off color changes meet with the angle of the building. A cylindrical cone was installed in the main entrance of the school, made entirely of glass and aluminum. These materials had to be protected from the terrazzo installation. The contractor on this outstanding project at Alief Independent School District Career Center is Southern Tile and Terrazzo of Houston. Congratulations for a job well done. These amazing public art installations are in Florida's busiest airport. The 4 floors integrate 68 deep, saturated colors of epoxy terrazzo blended with glass and mirror aggregate. Greeting passengers entering the main terminal, these installations were designed by Scott Parsons as welcoming gardens that celebrate the regions and attractions of the area, taking welcome mats to a whole new level. Named the Wellness Garden, the Tech Garden, the Fun Garden, and the Space Garden, each design radiates from its center and enjoins numerous motifs that unify the set of designs, suggesting a journey connecting the landscapes. An underbed of epoxy and sand was installed before the terrazzo installation. With arduous layouts of intricate aluminum water jet cut patterns and a challenging grouting process, the floors were required to be extremely flat. All work was done within a confined space. Each installation was completed separately over 14 weeks on round-the-clock shifts. This fabulous project at the Orlando International Airport was a joint venture between Alpine Terrazzo of Maitland, Florida, and Franklin Terrazzo Company of Chatham, Ontario. This terrazzo installation was part of a renovation and addition to the Gateway Arch National Park in St. Louis, Missouri. The majority of the terrazzo project's square footage was sand cushion terrazzo in 2 colors, both standard and Venetian, with number 3 to 5 marble aggregate. The installation included ramps and logos, both precast and poured-in-place terrazzo base, precast stairs and landings, and a terrazzo curb and cap. A 15-color epoxy terrazzo map of the U.S. depicts major rivers, lakes, mountain ranges, and the expedition trails of Lewis and Clark. The job required a match to the existing sand cushion Venetian terrazzo installed in the early 1960s. Materials included over 1 million pounds of sand, over 2,500 bags of Portland cement, 2,000 bags of white cement, and 400,000 pounds of marble aggregate. The work began in November 2015 and ended in April 2018, while the site remained open to over 3 million visitors annually. Congratulations go to the Missouri Terrazzo Company of St. Louis. This airport renovation project honors the city and nearby seacoast. The design in ticketing depicts the historic Capitol Dome using stained glass aggregate and gives the feel of light peering through the glass and beaming through with rays. School seals in the corridor promote the educational opportunities of the area. The billowing map with solid brass longitude and latitude lines, rivers and forests is at the same time whimsical, accurate, and informative to travelers. The design is communicated beautifully through the use of hand-blended, water-inspired epoxy that darkens gradually into deeper water and replicates sea-meeting sand. The sparkle of sun on surf is conveyed with silver-coated glass. Integrating multiple sizes of mother-of-pearl and mirror aggregate give an impression of the ocean underfoot. The map integrates thousands of feet of aluminum, zinc, and brass strips. All work had to be done at night to maintain accessibility to all areas during operating hours. Please give a big round of applause for this well-executed project at the Tallahassee International Airport to the David Allen Company of Raleigh, North Carolina. NTMA judges had high praise for the classic simplicity of this project in an office building lobby. They were won over by the aesthetics of this traditional cement terrazzo floor design that was executed in two-color, thin-set epoxy terrazzo with glass, marble, mirror, and porcelain aggregates. The design intent is beautifully achieved. The floor, with its focus on the strip pattern and joints, perfectly complements the vertical surfaces. The complex ashlar-style strip layout is composed of 3/8 and 1/4 inch brass divider strips mitered at all intersections. The project was completed in phases. One challenge was laying out and aligning the strip design from one section to another while work was confined within barricaded partitions. Excellent craftsmanship is evident throughout the job. For this outstanding job at 75 Rockefeller Plaza, part of the iconic Rockefeller complex in Midtown Manhattan, NTMA offers its compliments to D. Magnan & Company of Mount Vernon, New York. This gorgeous medallion in the main lobby of an elementary school won high points from NTMA judges. Assets include a winsome traditional pattern complemented by a modern border, a 3D center swirl, and the selection of colors. Removing ceramic tile and leveling the concrete substrate were followed by extensive handwork on this project. Installation time on the intricate artist design piece was restricted to just 2.5 weeks over the school's Christmas break. The crew worked around the clock daily. A significant challenge was aligning the symmetrical medallion within the recessed floor, which turned out to be asymmetrical. The aluminum medallion was water jet cut in several pieces and assembled on the job site. The terrazzo craftsman then subtly manipulated the 21 by 21 foot medallion with added strips bent on site to adjust to and obscure the imperfection of the floor, while still delivering a flawless result. Each of the 10 epoxy colors on this project was blended with its own unique formula of glass and marble chips. Congratulations for this well-executed project at Lafayette Elementary School in Washington, D.C. to Boatman and Magnani of Capitol Heights, Maryland. And now the National Terrazzo and Mosaic Association's 2019 Job of the Year. Over 10 years in the making, the 1 million square foot Salesforce Transit Center in San Francisco is the Grand Central Station of the West. It includes a public park, a 5-acre rooftop garden, a bus deck, and 2 floors of concourse and retail, all above ground, and lower-level train platforms and concourses. The terminal's grand hall houses an exceptionally intricate public art installation in terrazzo, designed by Julie Chang. 16 epoxy colors and 375 water jet cut elements of brass and zinc form this secret garden design that complements the scale and architectural elements of the space. An elegant white band weaves through the joyful collection of super-scaled hummingbirds, poppies, brass insects, and abstract shapes, superimposing shades on the colors. Besides the Grand Hall installation, another 6,000 square feet of single-color epoxy terrazzo flooring was installed in 5 different areas of the building at the same time, including 5 staircases of precast terrazzo and 11 elevator cab floors. When installers were asked to expedite the 6-month installation schedule, they trimmed a month off and increased the quality of the bent divider strip patterns by prefabricating the divider strips. Strip panels, many as large as 11 by 17 feet, were aligned on the construction site. The crew also ran 2 shifts 7 days a week. Many of the pour days consisted of troweling down colors in spaces of a square foot or less, but in 50 different locations, separated by a 16-gauge strip. It was a tedious process, especially with cleaning the strip edges. Another challenge of the job was installing the terrazzo on a concrete topping slab that contained a radiant flooring system over several inches of rigid foam insulation. Many hours were spent to ensure that the effects of a radiant flooring system were adequately considered and incorporated into the terrazzo design, and that plans were made to protect the floor during the rest of the construction process. The design and installation of the floor also had to take into account a second phase of construction, in which large structural slabs will be removed for the installation of escalators to provide access to projected commuter and high-speed rail. NTMA offers its highest compliments for an exceptional achievement at the Salesforce Transit Center, the 2019 Job of the Year, to Associated Terrazzo Company of San Francisco. This concludes the 2019 Honor Awards. Thank you to the judges and to you, our NTMA members. And finally, we want to recognize Creative Edge Master Shop as our first ever Honor Awards sponsor. Thank you for your generous support.